I'm really interested to see what comp they play. Um, WLS, obviously, they have confidence in it, but I feel like Jeff's team, I think they're top on the ladder. They should be more than capable of defeating WLS, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those compositions that they're probably familiar with facing. So that being said, this is full tournament gear. These guys might not be completely familiar with the full gear, but they're getting really close here at this point in the season. Taking a quick look at that bracket, it's Method versus Donut up next, and the winner of the series will go on to face Back. Donut though has Method has actually already lost to Back in a series in round 2 of the upper bracket. So if Method was able to get through Donut to go on to face them, it would be a rematch to see who will face Temple Storm in the finals. But before that, they're going to have to get through Donut, which Donut has time and time again come back and competed and done so very well with their double melee compositions. But Method has quite a few compositions up their sleeve as well to deal with that, and we're going to see what exactly it is that they're going to be playing to deal with that. Very shortly, guys. Just a reminder, we will be doing a hoodie giveaway courtesy of the one and only Jinx. That's going to happen just before the finals, so make sure you are following the stream to be eligible for said giveaway.
Oh, man. It's going to be rough, I think, if they decide to run with WLS. Kappa's team could throw. I mean, that's not without the realm of possibility that Kappa's team might just throw if they play WLS as well. So, but I think that should be basically very one-sided. So I hope that Method have prepared a different composition, and I'd like to see their diversity here. We've seen their consistency on the one composition. Now I'd like to see some diversity similar to Tempo Storm. We've seen their consistency and diversity, so I think it's a very important trait to have as a team right now in World of Warcraft, and definitely moving into Legion, is the capability to play multiple specs, multiple comps, and always be able to switch your mentality around as well, because not every comp plays the same, and not every comp plays the same into every other comp. So you got to be able to match the blocks into the right shapes constantly, and I think it's going to be very important for Method to have that diversity here in this series.
Yeah, it's a really good point. The different compositions that are coming out from Temple Storm have given them a huge advantage here, taking on that Mage Moonkin Holy Paladin. So we're gonna see what these guys are gonna put up for their blind pick compositions. But before we do that, I do want to take a quick moment to shout out all of the awesome supporters. All of you guys out there are actually freaking crazy. It's been nuts. I'm getting spam messages with just really positive vibes, and it makes me feel really good. So thank you guys. I really appreciate that. We got a $20 donation from Croctopus, and he says, Smexxin, please date me. So it may be a girl, I don't know, but Croctopus Smexxin has your number, bro. So I would definitely hook up with them because they are supporting the esport dream.
The Dateline.
Get them on Elbereth, that date night stream. Yeah, Smexxin and Croctopus. Yeah. We'll hook that up. But thank you so much for that $20 donation. It is crazy generous of you, really. Every dollar that we get in our donations go towards those future tournament prize pools to be able to continue to give these players back all the incentive to come and compete here at GCD TV. We also did get 2 subscribers that I have neglected to shout out. Thank you so much, Trigan, as well as RL is just AFK. Thank you guys so much. Love you all. We're at 246 subs out of our 300 sub goal. Appreciate all that love, but we're ready. We're in it to win it. We're going to jump into this game. It's Donut versus Method. I'll see you guys in a hot minute. It's Negrand Arena.
Yes, Sablo.
Welcome everyone to Negrand Arena. It's Donut versus Method Game 1, and we do see the 3 amigos come out to play. Snuts on his Affliction Warlock, Venriki on the Frostmaiden, and Chuck Jones, aka C-Dew, is going to be playing that Holy Paladin, going up against Jeff, Balance, and Kappa on the Windwalker DK Holy Pally team. And here we go, Balance running in, going to go ahead and sap up Venriki. Full Hodge lands out into Chuck Jones. He's going to get out of that right away with his trinket and get out of there. Deep Polymorph does land out into Raisin. Hodge goes out on the Balance. Jeff taking a bunch of damage using that AMS, however. Chuck still had that sprint up after that grip from Jeff, and Jeff is trying to reconnect over out onto him. He finally gets there, chunks him down to 50% health here, forcing the wings and execution sentence, regardless of Balance being put into that half polymorph. And Chuck Jones has got to be careful. He's playing in the middle of the map, though, letting his double wizard friends do work onto Jeff, taking him down so low. The wings execution sentence coming out from Kappa, though, going to be able to top him off here. But here's a leg sweep onto Chuck Jones. He's just going to trade up the bop right away. I like that move.
Yeah, and he's going to gate to the opposite side. Kappa's just been CC'd relentlessly at the moment, now sitting through a polymorph. He does manage to break it up in between somebody. I think a Mind Freeze actually interrupted that polymorph, but Snuts follows it up with a Fear. Jeff could be in trouble, forced to use that anti-magic shell. They're just going right after Sea-Doo, maybe trying to exploit his skill on the Holy Paladin class, but he's not failing. So there's the Fist of Justice. He still has his bubble for this stun lock. I would like to see some peels onto Balance. Doesn't look like they're going to happen, though. They do manage. He stole the bubble, and that stolen bubble is going to keep him alive while Kappa sits through that polymorph chain. Now Sea-Doo is running out of cooldowns, and this could actually be pretty close. Kappa caught into that full Fear, still has his trinket, still has his bubble, still holding on to cooldowns. Jeff caught into that full Fist of Justice, is going to desecrate to break it, trying to heal himself back up with some Death Siphons, trying to reconnect. Here's the leg sweep to win the game. Is Jeff able to finish the job here? Fist of Fury surely to follow it up. Nobody's peeling. Sea-Doo's still in trouble. He needs some desperate peels right now. Shadow Fury Fear over onto Balance, trying to give Sea-Doo a little bit of time. He gets locked out. He goes for the Hellstone. How much more time can he survive here? Execution, since he's trying to kite, he gets gripped back. Can they finish him off? Freedom comes out. Polymorphs over onto Balance, giving Sea-Doo a little bit more time to heal here, trying to pick himself back up. He's got Avenging Wrath. He's got Bop. He just got an Aura Mastery out of that. He should be fine. Jeff now in trouble. Kappa forced a bubble. Not enough to heal through it, and Method are going to take game number 1.
Wow, that steal and bubble was pretty crazy, allowing Kappa to hold on to a lot of cooldowns, but too little too late. That bubble coming out from Kappa just wasn't enough to heal through the onslaught of that Warlock Frost Mage damage out onto Jeff. And they forced all the cooldowns, and there you have it. Game number 1 will go to Method here in the lower bracket on the Grand Arena. Interesting. Very interesting plays coming out from these guys. Chuck Jones and the Holy Paladin, representing all Paladins across the world, will be surviving against the Windwalker Monk DK composition. But man, he was tapped, man.
Representing all Paladins around the world. Kappa's playing a Paladin too.
Oh yeah, no, they're both representing. It's fine. I just like that line. Okay,
There's some bias going on right now. I sense some bias.
It's true. I'm a huge Kappa fan. No, both of these guys. I mean, you know what it is? It's that I'm biased towards multi-classing. That's the bias. And Sea-Doo playing on a different class than he normally is playing on, you gotta be like, oh man, can he survive? That is like, it's one thing to be able to play multiple classes, and another thing to be able to play another class against Windwalker DK. Like, that's a hard comp no matter what healer you are to be trained by. But we're going to be going into the next game here very, very shortly between Method and Donut. And Donut still, I feel like, had a lot of momentum. Maybe they were able to survive there with a spam cast over out onto Jeff. And if they were able to do that, I feel like Sea-Doo was running out of time. And that could very well be what they need. And the Grand Arena is a very large map, and Sea-Doo running that sprint makes it very difficult for these double melee to reconnect, specifically Jeff. So now that they are the losers of the Grand Arena, they're going to have that map advantage going into game number 2. And I can't help but feel like we're going somewhere a lot smaller than the Grand Arena.
Yeah, you can see that the Magelock Paladin, they're doing similar to what Absurge's team was doing. They're not really dotting Balance, not hitting him, just crowd controlling him, but their comp is way more effective at it with Fear and Polymorph. They can chain them together for a really long period of time. There were a couple moments where Sea-Doo could have had some close calls, but there at the end, he had Aura Mastery, he had one more Bop, he had Stoneform, I think, and Avenging Wrath. Sea-Doo wasn't going down anytime soon. I think Kappa maybe responded a little bit too late, not bubbling in time to save Jeff. But Kappa as well was holding onto his trinket for a very long time. So I wonder if the smaller map is going to pay advantage here for Donut, or will they fall to the diversity of Method?
Yep, Method's still sticking with the Mage Lock Paladin composition, and Donut sticking to their guns. Balance representing with the pink shirt and Melman, as well as the pirate hat. You can't not mention the pirate hat and suspenders. giving him all that power. Is it going to be enough, though? Is it going to be enough? Are they going to be sticking on to Chuck Jones? I mean, we've seen this team as well make those swaps over out onto the Warlock and make things happen that way, or will they just go straight after Sea-Doo?
I think they're gonna go straight after Sea-Doo again.
Yeah, especially on this map.
And, just do it, and let's see if Jeff can stay a little bit more stable here. It seems like they're holding on to the Strangulate for really long periods of time, and then Sea-Doo just always has an answer for it. Maybe they just want to blow through it so he doesn't have Aura Mastery later in case he needs to cast without being interrupted or something, but I'd like to see Donut play maybe even more aggressive than last time. We can see Jeff getting freedom, but already getting polymorphed up, and here's the advantage that Method have, changing their composition to get more crowd control, but Kappa pushes forward, lands that full Fist of Justice. Sea-Doo is going to use that shield wall to reduce this damage, but will it be enough? Pillar of Frost gets popped. Balance is still going crazy. There's the Strangulate. He's going to Aura Mastery out right away. Papa's Avenging Wrath gets some hard casts off. He's going to hold on to that Execution Sentence for the time being, but he does get gripped back. He still could be in a bit of danger. He's going to gate away from the grip, but Balance portals right on top of his face. Kappa sitting through a full fear like it's nothing. Jeff just keeping himself alive here, and Balance still on the back of Sea-Doo, waiting to set up for that next leg sweep, waiting to set up for that next Fist of Fury. There's the Fist of Fury over on Sea-Doo. He's going to pop himself. They purge it off right away. Now, while he's on Forbearance, let's see if they can get a kill here. His Avenging Wrath will be fading, but a full poly over on the Kappa, a full fear over on the Balance. Jeff in a 3v1 situation just isn't able to solo Sea-Doo. He's going to lock him on that heal. I don't think that lockout's going to be enough. Balance trying to reconnect. Full Fist of Justice. Jeff's going to unbound. He pops the AMS. He wants to get a kill onto Sea-Doo here. He's got about 15 more seconds before Forbearance fades. Sea-Doo's going to trinket out of that full leg sweep. He's on the run. He needs some peels. Dark Sim over on the Sea-Doo. He's trying to steal that bubble. He's not going to get it this time around. That Saber of the Light will save his life. He's still down below 27% and forced to bubble. And Sea-Doo really not getting the peels effectively, I think, on the Balance here. Is forced to use a lot more cooldowns than would be expected.
Yeah, you know, the CC going out on the Kappa really did force Balance and Jeff to play a bit more defensively. And here we go. There's the CC chain out in the raise, and Hodge goes out on a Balance. He's taking a bunch of damage. Saved by the Light will proc into the Shadow Fury. He can't get the Karma off just yet. He does finally get that Karma off. Silence goes out on the CD, though. He's got no bubble available to him. Into the Fist of Fury. Is this it for Chuck Jones? He uses the wall mid-stun. He's in touch of Jet range. He gets the Holy Shot. Can he survive? The DR Hodge comes out, and down goes Sea-Doo. Donut is going to take game number 2 here on Dalaran Sewers.
Yeah, I don't know what made them want to switch on to Balance. He's much easier to control than Jeff. And then while they're training Jeff, they're also Frostbolt slowing him. They had really good control at the beginning with Balance and Kappa, but then they just kind of dropped it and were like abandoned mission and went on to Balance. And I think he actually got a Karma onto one of the pets, maybe a Water Elemental. Yeah. That way he could catch Sea-Doo off guard if he wanted to bop it or something. So his Karma got to sit for a few more seconds than normal because of putting it on the pet. But I don't know. I feel like they just kind of made a weird decision to swap to Balance when he still had that Karma, and he used it smartly on one of the pets. And when they were just doing the strategy on Jeff, it looked really good. They had really good control, and then they just lost it because of that.
Yeah, yep. Sorry, I was doing a whole bunch of other things while I was listening to that, but yeah, I mean, the first game that they went on to Jeff, it seemed like they had a lot more potential on forcing. You could see the hesitation that Jeff the DK had when he was getting tunneled down like that and all that damage there. He just couldn't go in on him. But the thing is about Balance is, one, Karma's a short cooldown, but also when Balance is short force defensive, he can get offensive a lot faster than a waddling DK. So I don't know, maybe that changeup was because of the map. Maybe they're trying to go for something like a setup kill early on instead of trying to survive it out. And but it definitely didn't work out for them. The momentum from start to finish seemed like it was in favor of Donut. Though Chuck Jones did a great job, rotating through his offensive cooldowns effectively, but the peels, like you said, just weren't there. I feel like the most effective peels there are, though, are those setup peels, like the CC going out onto Kappa and the setups onto one of the DPS, forcing him defensive is like the most effective peel that they have in their arsenal. I mean, of course, there's the well-timed fears as well as the polymorphs to stop them from killing at the very last moment, but picking what DRs you choose is going to be tricky.
I actually don't think Affliction is the best spec for this setup. I think he would be better off running Demonology.
Really? That would be really cool to see.
Mortal Strike, he'd be a lot more intimidating. I don't think they could just train Sea-Doo like that, and if they did, he would just get a Demon Bolt right to the dome and knock Jeff out. I actually think, like, I mean, maybe Snuts hasn't been practicing it very much. I mean, I think he won BlizzCon playing Demonology, so obviously he knows what the buttons are. I think he's fully capable of it, but I don't think Affliction is the better spec. I think Demonology would also give them another stun to peel if they really needed it. They get the Mortal Strike effect, so the DK self-healing is even lower. And then they can focus on CC more and just only keep Jeff dotted. I actually think Demonology would be way better in this composition position.
Venriki does play a healer, and Sea-Doo does play a Demo Warlock apparently.
Okay, no Sea-Doo luck.
No Sea-Doo luck. It's not happening, chat. I'm sorry. I see the Sea-Doo demo in chat. It's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry. But Snuts, we know, is fully capable of such things. But they might be sticking to their guns. They might just want to change up the strategy. I mean, game number 1 looked quite good for Method. But what about game number 3? We're gonna find out, guys, in a hot minute. It's Tolvaron Arena. Welcome everyone to Tolvaron Arena. It's Method versus Donut. Game number 3. Snuts sticking with the Affliction Warlock as well as Venriki on the Frost Mage, and Chuck Jones on the Holy Paladin will be going up against Donut here on a much larger map than Dalaran Sewers.
I don't know. I actually think Demonology, even if Snuts is like half as good at Demo as he is Affliction, would make this so much easier.
You think so?
I actually think it's that big of a difference. It would make it like an entirely different ball game. They'd be able to get triple stuns with Deep Freeze, Axe Toss, and Hodge. They could set up casts with Aura Mastery and Offensive Boss from Sea-Doo. I think it would be way different, but they're going to stick with their main guns here with the Affliction specialization. Kappa charging forward, Fist of Justice very early on. Let's see what they can get done with it.
Yeah, there we go. Whole bunch of damage coming out from Balance onto Chuck Jones, but the Fist of Fury will be feared up by Snuts. Great timing from him. Now the Hodge from Sea-Doo is going to go out, and Balance is going to Nimble Brew out of that right away. Raising getting polyed up over and over, and Chuck Jones is on the run. He's going to get gripped back by Jeff, however, and Balance is going to reconnect as well. The silence goes out on a Sea-Doo, but he takes the gateway, and he's not going to use that stone form. Great job by him using that gateway and holding on to even more defensive cooldowns from that onslaught. Not really getting a whole lot out of the Hodge combo. Jeff now still running towards Sea-Doo. He wants to get onto him, or maybe just line of sight the damage that these guys are putting out as Kappa's being put into the Deep Freeze. Now the full polymorph. Jeff's still the main kill target for now, but they're swapping it over onto Balance as Jeff line of sights. This Hodge is doing work, man. Shadow Fury goes out, and down goes Balance. Some crazy pressure coming out from Method in that Hodge Shadow Fury setup, and you know that Windwalker Monk just was not anticipating that.
Yeah, he Trinket and Diffuse just too late. Wasn't able to get it off in time and ended up going down. Obviously, the map seemed pretty hard. Jeff was kiting himself into a corner and then just instantly turned the Wizard Cannon to the left. Oh, there's a Windwalker Monk in my sights. Fire. And he wasn't ready for it, so ended up going down. Now, obviously, they're going to be able to pick a map that's much smaller, maybe more in favor for themselves. I'm starting to wonder if the Feral DK would be better. We saw them play Feral DK into the God Comp, and they were able to get a win with that. It seemed much more difficult for the Holy Paladin to deal with. Obviously, there's a lot more spammable CC with Snuts on a Warlock than a Shadow Priest, but I wonder if they're going to make any changes to try and get an edge that way. I think they're on their final legs, though. This could be the last game. Maybe they don't want to risk it. But I would like to see the Feral DK again.
Yeah, the Feral DK, they're just as confident with as they are the Windwalker DK. I think the player, Foxy specifically, is just such a good Feral, so it's definitely a possibility. Dalaran Sewers has already been played, however, so are we going to Ruins? Would they risk Ruins, or they maybe go for the little bit larger map, Tiger's Peak? I feel like Ruins is probably what they're going to be going for at this point. They need some sort of advantage to take on this Mage Paladin Warlock composition. But we're going to be finding out what they choose here very shortly. Waiting on their choices, and the admin will let us know. Currently 2-1 in favor of Method here in the GCD Pro League. Taking a quick look at that bracket. This series is in the lower bracket, so the team that loses this will be eliminated completely from the tournament, and the team that wins will be going on to face WeBack in the semifinal of that lower bracket. The winner of that series will then face Tempo Storm in the finals. This undefeated monster of a team is just looking so very strong as they already have locked in at least second place here in GPL tournament number 5. This is the very last tournament for teams to qualify for the final tournament, which will happen next week, guys. But here we go. The game is ready, and it's Ruins of Lordaeron. See you guys in a hot minute. Welcome, guys, to Ruins of Lordaeron. Donut bring it to a much smaller map, not letting Method hide anywhere they so please. Is going to be a hard one for Chuck to heal through, but I believe that he can absolutely do it, especially with the roster that he's rocking. Venruki and Snuts by his side, available for all those peels. Donut trying to make something happen against this Mage Paladin lock composition. It's going to be rough. Here we go. The gates are about to open. Potentially the last game for Donut. They have to win 2 in a row here on their map choice, then against Method's map choice. Here we go. Sap goes out on a Venruki right away, but he's going to get Bounce is going to get it rooted up. The double leg sweep going out onto Chuck Jones. He's going to wall out of that into the Fist of Fury. The silence overlap as well. He's going to Aura Mastery, use those wings, and the Fears going out on a Balance should give Chuck Jones enough breathing room to top himself off here. That's wings, that's Execution Sentence, that's Aura Mastery. It's some buttons out of that onslaught. Now Jeff's still the main kill target for Method. I like that choice. It's working out for them so far as the Haunts connect onto him. It's forcing Raisin to use his wings Execution Sentence to keep Jeff topped off.
Yeah, Donut switching their strategy a bit here. Seeing Sea-Doo, now gripping him in, making the swap. Sea-Doo is forced to trinket. He's going to freedom back to the room. We see the Pet Nova out from Venruki trying to stall out Donut's assault. Dark Soul pop by Snuts. Deep Freeze double stun. He gets the full sheep. Jeff could be in trouble. AMS available. He's going to desecrate AMS, heal himself up with these Death Siphons, and recover. We see Venruki just camping right on top of Kappa with a Polymorph tent. Actually stole a Fear and used it onto Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo actually pre-sacrificed the stolen Fear, and that's going to break right away now into the Paralyzed, but that's sacrificed as well. So that sacrifice paying its weight in gold here. Now Sea-Doo getting swapped over to a bit of an overlap in the stuns. Will it matter is the question. Down to 30%. Save with the Light. He's going to proc. Strangulate is up. He's going to Stone Form out. Execution Sense. Will that even be enough? He's forced to bubble. So many cooldowns forced out from Sea-Doo. Now swapping some pressure even over to Venruki. He's already down to half HP. He does have both ice blocks. He should be all right. Fist of Justice over into Jeff. Balance even rotting down as well. Kappa forced to bubble. Bubble forced on both sides, but Kappa still has his trinket. Sea-Doo could be in trouble for the next Death Grip swap. If they can get Snuts and Sea-Doo to stack up, get them both locked down, could be very important here. Sea-Doo caught into that Paralyzed. Seems like they're just going after Snuts for now. Jeff getting polymorphed out. Venruki peeling effectively here. Sea-Doo's going to preemptively pop his Avenging Wrap, but there's the Fist of Justice. Offensive Touch of Karma over onto Sea-Doo. They need to be able to 100-0 him in this Fist of Fury, but Sea-Doo sees it coming. He's going to bop himself, prevent any incoming stuns. Jeff looking to maybe even try and purge that. Sea-Doo's going to gate to the opposite side now with only one bop remaining. How long can Sea-Doo stay alive? Balance just relentlessly chasing after him with that Flying Serpent kick. Now Sea-Doo going to kite back to the center of the map. He knows how to exploit these melee, dragging them into the open for Venruki and Snuts to tee off.
Yeah, and they've been doing just that. Balance and Jeff has been feeling the pressure. They really have, but I love the swaps that they make too when Sea-Doo like repositions himself, or whenever they just lose momentum, they do things like they kill the Warlock pet, or they interrupt Venruki on his setups onto Kappa. It's great presence of mind coming up from Donut, but is it going to be enough to take Method down here in Ruins of Lordaeron? Snuts now pushing forward. Triple Shadow Fury coming out from Snuts on that Hodge on the Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo finally getting gripped in at the end of that Hodge into a leg sweep. Is this all they need? The Trinket comes out. The Hodge goes out onto Balance to follow it up. Balance without Touch of Karma has got to be careful. Is this going to be it? Fist of Fury go out onto Chuck, but it doesn't matter. Down goes Balance, and Method is going to take a 3-1 victory against Donut here in the lower bracket, and Method will be moving on into the semifinals to face WeBack.
Yeah, you know, it's all diversity, right? Like, I feel like the two teams right now that play like in the pro league very often would be Please Sponsor Us and Donut, and they're very skilled at their main compositions. I mean, obviously they're like a first page, top of the ladder. They're really good at them, but their diversity is the part that I think is holding them back. They both have the 4-player rosters, but even so, they still have the same weaknesses. Right. Even with the Feral Druid, the weaknesses for Donut, the Mage Paladin teams. I think they need to like focus on trying to get some more diversity if they really want to be like winning the tournaments week after week.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, man. I mean, you saw Method come out with two different types of compositions that, I mean, kind of have different weaknesses. And when you have different weaknesses like that, you can kind of avoid maybe getting countered. And Donut, time and time again, is just struggling against these certain compositions, and they will be eliminated by them. But you know they have the capabilities to do it. I can't wait to see them come back and compete. Because they probably will be invited to the final tournament as they've accumulated quite a few points throughout the season. Taking a quick look at the bracket of who's coming up next, we have Weeback versus Method in the semifinals to take on Tempo Storm in the finals. And just a reminder, guys, we're doing that Jinx hoodie giveaway right before the finals, so make sure you're following the stream so you're eligible for that. What hoodie, you ask? Check out the Jinx button below with all the Warcraft gear to see what hoodies are available in that giveaway. But soon we're going to be jumping into the next game. Between these two, we have Weeback versus Method, and you know that this is going to be a hype series. Indeed, indeed. You know, one disadvantage that I was actually brought to my attention for going to that lower bracket, other than having to play that whole additional series, is actually having to play at least 2 series in a row. So they just won Method just beat Donut, but now they're having to go up against Weeback now. Right after that, so they're going to be queuing up